Hello, and welcome to Gunfighter Life, a podcast where we talk about gunfighting, a Judeo-Christian worldview, and real-world first-hand experience. So it seemed by looking at some data that some of the episodes that do by far the best are the ones that I didn't think would do well at all, just the ones on a single cartridge, just a single narrow topic. So I thought I'd do this podcast mostly for you guys to pass on information. Try and put out a series of these shorter episodes, not to take away, not in substitution for the bigger, what I consider more thought-provoking episodes, but in addition to those. So today's topic is going to be on the 35 Whelen. I'll give a brief abbreviated and then we'll roll into the topic. First and foremost, I am a Christian. Don't apologize for that. I'm very blessed to be a Marine Corps combat veteran, urban warfare instructor for the Marine Corps, also served in the United States Army, rifle and pistol champion, APD, and private contractor. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and fingers for battle. Alright guys, with that, let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be on the 35 Whelen. Now if you guys don't know about cartridges and wildcatting, just a real brief thing. Many of the cartridges we love today come from home reloaders and hobbyists and machinists. A cartridge that exists and they tinker with it a bit until they get what they want. A classic example of this would be the 270. They take a 30-06 case and they do what's called necking it down and put a smaller caliber bullet in it. 270 caliber bullet, or 277 to be specific, and they called it the 270. Really took off. You can do the other way and neck up as well, which is where you take the case, shoot it, expands, and you put a bigger bullet in it, necking it up. Such is the case today with a 35 Whelen. Imagine taking a 30-06 case and necking it up to 35 caliber. Now my Hornady reloading manual lists anywhere from a 180 grain bullet to a 250 grain bullet. Now with the 30-06, its parent case, you're talking, normally people shoot a 150 grain bullet, 165. If you want to get super heavy, you're talking the 180 grain. 35 Whelen, you push it up to 250 grains. Compare that with a popular loading today of the 223, which is probably the most common American rifle caliber. A 55 grain bullet is probably the most common, a 62 grain. If you're talking super heavy, you're talking, 77 grain. So I know load data can vary and there may be some hotter loads, but let's consider 77 grain bullet coming out at 27-ish hundred feet per second. The 35 Whelen comes close to that with a 250 grain bullet. If you guys are wondering how to spell it, it's Whelen, named after Townsend Whelen. Per the Wikipedia page, Colonel in the United States Army, prolific gun writer and hunting writer, born in 1877. What he did was neck that up like we talked about. Let's say beef up the 30-06. Shoot bigger, heavier bullets at respectable velocities. Now, why may one want this today with so many other cartridges? 35 Whelen, still, a sledgehammer for things like elk and bear and brown bear, moose, big animals. You couldn't use it on deer, but it's kind of superfluous, kind of more than you need. But for elk, anything out west, where you may shoot a mule deer today, you may shoot an elk today. You run across an angry, brown bear. For things like that, the 35 Whelen is awesome. Now, I've competed in more precision rifle events. That's how I cut my teeth as a competition shooter. But I really enjoy the skill of hunting and spotting and stalking and getting close to game within a few hundred yards. I even enjoy archery hunting where I have to get within 30 or 40 yards. A lot of times in stalking, a lot of your shots are 50 yards and in. And if you like that kind of hunting, that more primitive style of hunting, and the style of shooting where it's more about the art of shooting and the skill of shooting rather than the mathematics of shooting and the science of shooting, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying if you lean more towards the art and the skill of shooting, the spot and stalk hunting or the ambush style of hunting or the still hunting may be preferred to that long range hunting that seems to be popular today. And for something like that, the 35 Whelen would be awesome. For going out west or going to Alaska or going to Canada, have multiple tags and you may be, stalking through the brush and you may be moose hunting and you may see a brown bear or a big old black bear. Or later in the season you want to go moose hunting. It would be fine for that too. It's a big game sledgehammer. It hits hard. The formula for energy is mass times velocity squared. And that kind of skews the numbers when you look at it, because in general it will show that a light bullet moving very fast has a lot of energy, where a heavy bullet moving slow seems to have less. But in my experience and a lot of other people's experience, real world knockdown of living creatures, a big heavy bullet does well. And the 35 Whelen certainly has a big heavy bullet. Now, I looked it up before I started this episode. Midway USA, kind of my go-to for buying stuff. I don't get any kickback or anything from them, no bribes or anything like that. And they have quite a few factory loadings. I was surprised. They list quite a few on there. Now, obviously, we're in the ammo apocalypse of 2020, 2021, so a lot of it's sold out. But they list, a lot of companies still make factory ammo for the 35 Whelen. Get anything from Remington, the old school Corlock, which has been around a long time, to Federal, to Barnes, to Hornady, all kinds. Buffalo Bore. The Buffalo Bore loading, I had to click on it because their stuff's just cool. The 35 Whelen, it's got a 225 grain bullet at 2705 feet per second out of a Remington 700. So just a really cool cartridge. Blessing that I grew up not into guns before everything was, an AR-15 and a Glock 19. And there's nothing wrong with that. I run those two. I have those two. I've got a Glock 17 right next to me in my dresser drawer here by the bed. A Scar 17 above my head. Nothing wrong with those guns. But not everything has to be that. And I think a lot of people that have gotten into shooting recently think that's all there is or that's all they focus on. There's a whole wide world of guns out there. I don't want cartridges like the 35 Whelen to be forgotten. I don't want Americans and young men in America to forget how to hunt and how to stalk and how to put meat on the table. You're kicking around a gun store, you're kicking around a pawn shop or perhaps a gun show, and you see one, a 35 Whelen and a Remington 700, an old 1903 Springfield action that's been reworked. At least now you have a better idea of what it is and what it can be for you. So I hope you've liked this episode. This Gunfighter short, or whatever we'll call it, just on a single cartridge topic. If you did like and you want to learn more, check out one of our longer episodes on gunfighter life. If you like this podcast, you may also like a few others. The Alpha Male podcast, where we talk about being an alpha male in today's world, and Simple Man Sermons, if you care about the important stuff, the preachings of a simple man called by God to share the good news of Jesus Christ. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to support, check out more. Check out the other podcasts. Check out some more visual stuff. Just go to goodshepherdtraining.com. All one word, goodshepherdtraining.com. Check out on there. You can scroll to the bottom and click on there if you want to support the podcast, if you want to check out some other stuff. Again, that's goodshepherdtraining.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. With that, guys, thanks, and have a blessed day.